A man who lives in lust will never experience real love. Only attraction, only obsession, emptiness, things that come and go quickly. Because lust trains you to consume people, but love teaches you to sacrifice for them. And that's why so many men say they want a relationship, but they can't stay faithful, patient, or present. Because lust rewires your brain to ask, what can I get from her? What can I get out of her? Instead of what can I give? You don't fall into love when you're ruled by lust. You just chase novelty. You chase that quick hit of pleasure. You try to fill that void, that loneliness in your heart by using another person. And here's the hard truth most men don't want to hear. If you can't control your eyes, you can't protect a woman's heart. And if you can't trust yourself alone, why would God trust you with his daughter? If you can't even trust yourself with your right hand, you say, oh, I don't want to put my right hand over here, but you still do it. Why would God trust you with his daughter? Because love requires self-control and lust destroys it. And that's why lustful men confuse intensity with connection. They think going out, participating in hookup culture, that's them connecting with other people. But all that is fake love. And what happens is when the more time you give into it, the more every time you hook up with someone, it's like tape. You have a sticky piece of tape and you're sticking with someone. Every time you stick and you rip it off and you stick and you rip it off, your tape gets less sticky and you lose your ability to have a real meaningful connection with someone else. And that is why that lustful men, they confuse intensity with connection and attraction with intimacy. And what you need to do is understand that real love starts with discipline. It's when you stop feeding lust and when you stop feeding the flesh. That's when something changes. You start to see women as human beings, not just bodies for your own pleasure. You stop craving that constant validation, and you start to become grounded, calm, secure in yourself. You can actually be present with another human being and love them. Because lust is quick. Lust is all in the mind. It feels so good, but it takes everything from you. It's just like salt water. You think you're lonely, right? You're lonely. And it's just like when you're thirsty. You look at the ocean, you see all this water. Oh, all this water is going to conquer my thirst. I'm going to feel so good after I drink this water. Then you drink the water. You're thirstier for more. You drink more. You're thirstier for more and more and more until it eventually kills you. So you have to stop giving into lust. You have to stop giving into lust because once you're grounded, that's when love becomes possible. Not because you found the right girl, but because you became the right man. So if you're lonely right now, don't ask God for a relationship. Ask God to purify your heart first because love isn't found by men who chase pleasure. Love is entrusted to men who can control it. So be a man of love. Don't be a man of lust because lust steals everything from everyone around you. It's candy to the eyes, but it's poison to the soul. And the more you give in, the more it takes. The more you give in, the more it drains you and takes everything from you. So if I had one message I could leave young men before I die, it would be never confuse lust with love. Never confuse it because you're lonely or you want to feel connection or you feel numb. No. Never confuse it because love fills you. Love gives you these things while lust takes them away. So that's the one message I would leave to young men is be careful. Be careful. Never confuse lust with love. Never confuse it. Embrace God. Embrace being a man of God. Embrace being a man of purpose. Because when you're a man of purpose, when you have something you're aiming towards every single day that you're putting your all towards, that you're going to notice that naturally love comes to you. That naturally that relationship comes to you. The problem is so many men, they're lost, right? And they're floating through life. They don't have a direction. They don't have a purpose. They don't have something they're working towards every single day. So what are they going to do? They're going to try to fill that empty void in their heart with other people. With maybe going out on weekends, partying, getting with that girl, all these things. And what it does is it temporarily fills that void, right? But the second it's over, that void gets bigger and bigger until you lose your purpose, you lose your soul. That's why these people like Bonnie Blue, all these people, they have no soul. Because they're tape, they stick and unstick, they lose themselves. They lose what makes them human. So please, if you're a young man, a young woman, whoever you are watching this video, don't fall for the trap of degeneracy that society is trying to push upon you, right? Society loves to promote this stuff, OnlyFans, hookup culture, because it's going to drain you, and that's what they want. They want you to be drained. So please reject it. Reject lust, reject degeneracy, reject the things of this world, and embrace God. Embrace a relationship that has fire behind it, right? So many guys, like this candle, for example. You see this candle? This is like love. This is a relationship. And every time you give into lust, you until the candle is gone, until your spark is gone. So please never mistake it. Never mistake these two things because they're polar opposites. Lust and love, completely different. God is love, right? God is love. So what are you doing every time you give into lust? You're choosing the opposite of God. You're choosing the exact opposite of what God is. So you just can't do it. You can't do it, man. You can't do it. And I get it too. You know, we all want relationships. We all want to feel love, right? I want to feel love. Okay, I feel lonely. So many times I feel lonely. But the problem is when you're lonely, there's a few ways you can deal with loneliness. You can search for it with God, reading your Bible, growing with God, becoming the best version of yourself, or you can deal with it with things maybe like drugs, hookup culture, corn, gooning. In that cycle, it makes you lonelier and lonelier and lonelier until you lose your mind, until you lose your sanity. So please don't give in to lust. Please don't give in to lust from the bottom of my heart. Please just find your relationship with God, grow your relationship with God like you were going to grow a plant, and eventually that plant will bloom into a flower, and God will give you true love that actually fulfills you. So if you're a young man, a young woman, whoever you are, the last message I would leave is reject lust, embrace love.